just getting started for the day, so I thought I'd run through what I'm going to do to get warmed up today and practice. I'm basically just going to do some arpeggio stuff. I'm using a jazz standard tune, so I'm using There Will Never Be Another You. I'll go through the chords as I go through them. It doesn't have to be a jazz standard. This is literally just gives me something to kind of go to next. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start off, my first chord is an E flat major 7, right? So I'm just going to find myself a nice comfortable pattern to play that E flat major 7 in. So I'm going to use this E flat to begin with, so that is the 6th fret on the A, right? So I'm just going to play myself just a single octave arpeggio from there. Now I'm going to make sure that instead of just having that single octave arpeggio, when you're doing this stuff, you want to make sure that you understand the intervals inside that arpeggio and it's not just a bare pattern, okay? So you want to be able to identify that that's your 7th, that's your 5th, and that's your root, 3rd, root, whatever. So then, before you sort of move on from there, I'm not giving myself any sort of time pressure or anything to get to the next chord or anything like that. Like I said, this is the first time I'm touching my guitar today. I've got my coffee, which is really important, but I'm literally just doing some fretboard exploration, right? So you start off with this one shape, again, with the knowledge of the intervals in place, and then start to explore it as a hand position so that you can extend that arpeggio a little bit. So if we've got a root there, we've got a major 7 right before it, right? So instead of just stopping there, I can go to that major 7 as well. Directly above my root, I've got a 5th. Okay, and then back here, I've got a major 3rd as well. So I actually did something a little naughty there. I went to a 9th. My apologies. You usually get away with a 9. 9s are great, but I'm strictly trying to use the arpeggio, so I shouldn't have done that really. So I'm now starting to build this up as that up as a hand position rather than a singular use arpeggio, if that makes sense. Now when I get to the top here, so this is my next root again. I've come from the 7th here, which would be the 7th fret on the G. I can do this for the other 7 as well. I could even roll that down and get the root there with my 2nd finger. So then you can start building an arpeggio that kind of moves this way if you want. So you go that way rather than out here with the pinky. But again, it's all part of the same hand position. I don't tend to use that one up as much personally. But if I did, one thing that I could do, if I grab that root there, I can see I've got a major 3rd there as well on that top string. And if I can see that, then I can see that I've got a 5th there as well. So now I've got something that spans every string, right? I've still got this 7th out here. Now if I went to go to that 3rd like that, it requires a little bit of a jump, like that, rather than which I'm okay with. I do that sort of thing quite a lot. It really depends on how you play and how you do that. So I'll just explore that until I'm kind of comfortable with that sort of one hand position, and I'm happy sort of noodling around, playing around that. I'm not thinking about anything too serious in terms of timing or anything like that. Just exploring the fretboard. Now, from that one root note, before I move on to my next chord, I will literally think about, well, what if I want to play this direction from that root note? So that 3rd, I can get here. I can get my 5th there. Get my 7th there. Root. Okay, now we've got, as we said before, we've got the 5th directly above the root. Now the C flat, I've got a 7th there as well. So again, I can start filling that out into one hand position if I want to. If From there, I've got a third directly below me. Some people might prefer to bar that. I don't like doing that personally, so I'll tend to try and find another way to do it. I've got a fifth there, and the seventh there. So I've got a small arpeggio structure at the bottom here. Granted, it's not going up to the root. I can do that little short slide, which directly translates to this lower version, which then we can continue, 7, 5. We can keep going down if we want, but my point is here, I've started with this one root note, and rather than just learn that, we've explored that into a single hand position this side of the root note, and a hand position this side of the root note, so whichever finger we land on that particular root note, we've got a certain direction to start playing and things like that. All right, so that's how I will generally sort of start off with this sort of stuff. Like I said, super chill. I'm half asleep today. We've got a poorly sick little girl, so we're a very sleep deprived house. So this works for me today, just nice and relaxed. Fretboard exploration. From there, I would go to my next chord in the chart. Although, you know, I'll probably leave it there and leave you to have a play with that sort of idea. But from the next chord, I'd be on a D flat. Sorry, not a D flat, a D minor 7 flat 5. So what I would tend to do, rather than just, you know, find any D that I'm kind of comfortable with, I'll just try and find a D that is in the same sort of hand position or the same sort of territory. So I've got two there. So I could either start from there and think, or I could start there, come backwards, or up here. And again, you just start sort of expanding the arpeggio and the hand position in the same sort of manner from there. And I would just sort of do that across probably the entire chart. It takes quite a while because again, I'm not rushing anything. I'm just sort of exploring things and having to play around. But that really helps me with my visualization. It helps me get my fingers moving and just helps my brain wake up in the morning as well. So I hope that's of some use and I've not prattled on too much. If you're already a pupil of mine and you want some help with that, let me know. I can go through that with you, no problem. If you're not a pupil of mine and you want some help with that, let me know, and we'll talk about whether or not you want to inquire about lessons or anything like that. If not, have fun and good luck with it.